Hello everyone, this is today's video analysis for October 16, 2018. Today we're looking at the AUDUSD, the Australian versus the US dollar, for today's trade analysis. What I want to start with is here on the daily time frame. We really have a tale of two competing trends. We have a long-term downtrend, that's the long black trend line that you see here, falling for the past several months. In fact, going all the way back to the high at the top of the chart back into January of this year. So all year we've seen this currency pair falling, AUD falling against the US dollar all year long. So that's the first trend we want to observe. Secondly, throughout the life of this trend, we've had little short-term uptrends, and we can see it along these little black trend lines I've put here. Little periods of couple days or a couple of weeks where the market went higher. We can see it all throughout the life of the trend. What's important now is that we're in a period like that. Let's go ahead and zoom it in a couple of times, and you can see the blue trend line, bottom right hand corner of the chart, where we're in one of those periods where we're seeing the market pull back or retrace against the overall downtrend. So the question is, how do we trade it? Do we continue to try and sell it as the market's going back up, or do we try and buy it looking for something against the overall long-term trend? That's the competing trends that we would look at, short-term trends or a longer-term trend. Which one do we focus in on? Well, for the time being, I think I'm going to focus in on what the current market is doing. I don't really want to try to sell it against the rising sentiment right now, because that could be detrimental. We could even see it rise as high as the 7,200 level back towards the longer term trend line, the pink shaded area up here. That's a possibility. So trying to sell it as it rises to that pink zone, or potentially even changes the longer term trend, just doesn't seem logical in my opinion. So what I'm going to do is just go with the flow, go with the sentiment right now, using appropriate risk strategies. That way I can limit the impact if the market does eventually turn back down in the direction of the longer term trend. But I don't want to sell it just because the longer term trend is there. I want to go with the sentiment for the day today. And right now, over the past week, we've seen more bullish than bearish sentiment here for the Australian dollar. In fact, the blue shaded area here down at the bottom of the chart, 7120, 0.7100, the market's currently holding above there as support. Well, historically, back here where the green circle is, if it's above the blue zone, we saw continued reversal back higher again. So we know historically above the blue zone it's support. Currently, over the past couple of days, we've seen the blue zone as support. Again, 0.7120, 7100. And so I don't want to fight it. I don't want to try and sell it again in the direction of the longer term trend as long as we're above that support level and holding above it. So what I'm looking for today, intraday wise, is that if it stays above the blue zone, I have opportunities to buy, targeting higher levels, because that's what the trend has done. It's done that. Again, zooming it back out, we see that's the life of the downtrend, these periods where it goes up. And again, the blue trend line showing that we're in one of those periods. So what I'm going to do today is, as long as it's above the blue zone, as close as possible as I could get to the blue zone, I buy it. I target the orange zone, I target the pink zone, I target higher levels as long as it's going up. The risk here is pretty simple. We just don't want it to get underneath that blue shaded area. So our stop loss would be underneath the blue shaded area. That way, if it does indeed turn back around and go back down, we can limit the impact to our trading account. Now, if you're thinking about selling it in the direction of the longer term trend, you don't really feel like buying it against that longer term trend, that's okay too. But I think that right now is not the best time to do it sitting on top of that blue zone or the current support. You would either be looking at the orange zone or the pink zone for indications of resistance and reversal to go back down, or it goes back under the blue zone. So the blue zone's our main area to focus in on today. Above it, we have the possibility of buying in the direction of the short-term sentiment or retracement trend that we're seeing right now. Or if we're looking to sell it, we have to wait. We must wait until it breaks back under the blue zone before we decide to sell in the direction of the longer-term trend for the Australian dollar today.
From Forex Traders Daily, this has been your daily analysis with Ross Mullins. If you would like to get Ross's analysis on all the currency pairs he's watching and all the trades he takes today, join him in his live trade room by clicking on the link below. Please leave any comments you have about today's video in the comments section below.